What's up, y'all? We're back out here at the garage to start off another fun video. As you can see, we're taking flight again to check out another cool little RC heli I picked up from RTR Hobby. This time it's the cool little UH-1 HUEY from YuXiang. Really quick look at the box art and all before we bust into it. There's the front, very cool kind of action photo on the front there. And then on the back, they've got the realistic looking photo of the chopper itself. It is 6-axis gyro stabilized. You got dual brushless motors, so brushless main and a little brushless tail motor. It's got altitude hold, and this one does have the optical flow sensor on it, and it's got a one-touch inverted flight, so you can flip it over and the controls automatically invert themselves and you can fly it upside down. Now, if y'all have watched my channel much recently, you know I just did a video on this little Bell 206 that also came from RTR Hobby. Now, they sent this one to me, but this HUEY I paid for myself. I picked this up on my own, so just wanted to get that out of the way. So this is totally unbiased. I'm doing a review on it, and I do have affiliate links through them, so I'll leave those below, but I paid for this one myself. Now, I have already opened this one time when it first got here to make sure everything was good to go and to charge up the battery. So you get your user's manual there, how to set everything up. You get your kind of standard set of accessories that's got the charging cable there, an extra set of main rotors, an extra tail rotor, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, extra tail rotor there, a couple little bitty tools, and then this one's got the tail stabilizer fins there, and a couple little scale accessory rocket launcher and stuff right there. And then you can see we got the chopper. I got the 2-battery model and your controller there. All right, check this thing out, y'all. Very, very cool looking little scale look to this thing. The little doors on the side open back and forth if you want. You can see I put my rocket pod and stuff on there. There's your battery opening, obviously. You can see the main motor right there. Actually, you can see the little small tail motor even. You can see right there your tail motor. I put the red stabilizer fins on. This thing's got some nice rotors on it too. It's like it's a nylon and carbon fiber blend on it, so you can tell much more substantial than just regular polymer rotors. It's got several little lights on it, a red light on this side, green on this side, and then I believe this is the indicator light that they're talking about in the instruction manual. It gives you a bunch of different indications of what's going on as far as what mode you're in and the battery levels and that kind of stuff. Here you can see a size difference between the HUEY and this Bell 206. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be the same scale. I think, again, I don't know if I mentioned this is like 1/34 scale. I have no idea what this is. I can say, while this is very cool, I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I actually ordered something to do a little mod on this, so y'all stay tuned for that. This one is more substantial. You can just tell it just feels more substantial. You got a nice aluminum rotor head and all up on top there. Now, that being said, this is under $100, where this is just under $250. You can get the single battery model for $230 right now with all the discounts, or you can get the dual battery model for $246. That's what I would suggest if you're gonna get it. Get the dual battery model. These batteries run, I believe they say 10 to 12 minutes, but it's always good to have a spare. If this thing flies like I've seen a couple of other videos and as cool as it looks and as nice as it looks, for $246, that's definitely not a small amount of money, but this will be a cool little toy right here. Now, as far as your batteries go, they are 2S LiPos. You can see they're 1200 milliamp 25C LiPos, USB-C chargeable. And this one does have an indicator for like the level of it, and you can check the status of it right there. So you can see fully charged. There you can see your contacts. You got contacts down in there. You kind of put it in at a little bit of an angle and then just pop it up there into place. Maybe you have to squeeze these. Yeah, squeeze the little ears and then pop them right back out and you're ready to roll. Now, you've also got a few extra things on this controller compared to that little Bell 206. You got a rotor lockout switch here. The controls are the same as far as your throttle there, your turning right there, your roll on this one, and then your pitch right there. You got a low-high speed right there. This is to control or to adjust the pitch there on your main rotors. This one right here is to turn the optical flow system on and off. With that optical flow, it basically gives you more stability, more level control, and more fighting against any kind of wind, more level altitude hold, and that kind of thing. But then you can turn that off and then get more altitude. With the optical flow, I believe it said you were limited to 8 meters. Once you turn it off, you can go way on up there, and you have to turn it off because you have to be way up there to use this inverted button. Now, I'm not going to fire up the rotors inside here because I don't want no kind of mishap, but to turn it on, you just hold it. You'll see some flashing. You got a flashing blue right there now. So you hold the power. All right, now we're on. All right, all kind of music going on. So we got a red and a green. This one's flashing yellow. I'm guessing you go up or you don't even have to bind it. So I guess it's already bound right there. So once I unlock it and do the takeoff, it should go on up. Now they talk about how to do the gyro calibration. It says like that, but yeah, there it goes right there. And then it's green. So you see it turned green again. Now they said you didn't have to do that, but I've heard it's a good idea to do that gyro calibration just to make sure there's no mishap. So that's about all I can show you at the bench. It's been raining like crazy all morning, but it has stopped. It's still pretty cloudy, but I think I can find us a good place, maybe at a local park out here. I want to have plenty of room for this first maiden flight. So once again, we're gonna hold our power here. Got the blue flashing there, and then we're gonna hold the power on the heli here. That's powered up. Got lights, flashy, that's flashing. That should turn green. And there we go. That's a flashing green. I don't think you have to, well, okay, now it's locked in green. So let's do another servo or gyro calibration just because. There we go. Now we're calibrated again. So we'll unlock the rotor, and then to take off, we should just go down and out, I'm assuming, or to start it up. So there we are, started up. Let's see what happens. I'm assuming we're on optical flow mode from the start. I mean, that would be silly to send it not being in optical flow mode. Now we got some pretty hefty wind out here. Ooh, look at that, y'all. So that's holding right there. That's optical flow on. And like I say, it's got some wind for sure, but it's handling it. Check that out, y'all. That's actually a pretty doggone good hover right there. So, whoa, 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 that's going up. So, oh, my sticks are reversed? No, what am I saying? My sticks aren't reversed. I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. All right, so let's go up, turn around. All right, there we go. Whew, this thing flies so good with that optical flow. I mean, it's like locking it on. So what y'all saw what happened there, I believe with that optical flow, what it does is when you let off, it tries to go back or stay at that position where it kind of thought you let off. So we'll go up some, let's go a little bit forward, and I'll go over here and kind of stop it right about there, and we'll see what it does. I mean, see, I'm not touching anything right there, y'all. I mean, that's pretty doggone stable if you ask me. That's actually pretty awesome, I think. So again, it's only supposed to go 8 meters with optical flow. God, I'm so nervous about taking this thing so high. All right, that's it. It won't let me go any further. I'm topped out. So that's high as you can go with optical flow. So that's pretty nice. And I'm on, am I on low? I'm assuming I'm on low. I mean, let's see, that says high. I think I was already on high. Let's see if I switch to low. Or maybe it's a momentary kind of thing, maybe, I guess, where both directions are low and high. Let me see if I hold it. Yeah, nothing from holding. So nothing from holding right either. So I'm assuming it's just a low and high. This thing's actually awesome. Let's see if I can do some banking. Y'all can tell I'm a newbie because I do all my turning with the, I don't know what you even call it, what the correct terminology, not the banking, but just basically turning it around. So that optical flow definitely, I mean, this thing flies way easier than my Bell 206 because the Bell 206 did not have optical flow. I mean, y'all can see I'm not touching anything right there. I'm right here at this thing. That's really, really cool right there. So let me get a little bit of altitude and I'm gonna try to take the optical flow off. So there you go, optical flow is off for sure. And see, I'm drifting and I'm not sure, I'm actually not sure how to trim this thing. Oh, so it doesn't have like a, I'm not sure, but y'all can see like it doesn't hold on optical flow, but the trim is definitely off. And I'm not sure how to get into trim mode. I know right here is for the pitch when you're stopped, I should say. Let's see if I can figure this thing out here. See, now that's optical flow off. It holds, but you can see it drifts with the wind. That's the difference for sure. It drifts and you have to work at it to hold it. Ooh, I think it's faster though. Yeah, it's definitely faster with optical flow off. Y'all can see, whoo. Oh. Whoo, baby. Yeah, it's definitely faster with optical flow off. I mean, way, way faster. Y'all saw what I did there. I about goofed up and went too low. So let's bring this baby back here. Let's get her calm back down. Let's put this optical flow back on. I'm glad, I can tell you what, I'm glad I came out to this park for sure. Let's do the optical flow back on. And boom, it immediately calmed down. I mean, that's crazy right there. I think I turned it back on. Did I? Yeah, I did. See, as soon as it went back to where it's trying to go back to where I stopped it with the optical flow, I believe. So let's go over here. See if I can calm it back down now. Yeah, see, now it's calmed right back down with the optical flow. So that's really, really cool. That does make a big difference. And I'm sure it will make a big difference even on that Bell 206. So y'all stay tuned. That's definitely a little spoiler and a hint that's something I've got coming for that Bell 206. But I'll tell you what, this thing on optical flow is very easy to fly. I mean, y'all can see it doesn't get out of control, and it definitely, well, there's a drift. I have a drift with the optical flow off, and I'm not sure how to adjust my trim. I know this right here is for, that's for the pitch when it's not running, but I don't know if that's also for the trim. Woo, 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 woo. That thing dropped, didn't it? Let's see what happens. Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to do some more reading. I didn't do much reading, I'll be honest with you, y'all. I was just wanting to get out here and have some fun with this thing. I'm also not sure whether I'm in low or high. I can't really tell judging by the speed there. This wind definitely is kicking out here, y'all, but it's surprisingly, I mean, if y'all knew how fast this wind was right now, this thing's doing very, very nice for being so windy. I mean, that optical flow really does its job, buddy. You can see, I mean, it's a strong wind right now. Strong, strong wind. That was me pushing to the side. But it's really a strong wind right now. And you can see, I mean, that thing's just holding steady. That's very, very cool, y'all, how nice and steady that thing sits there with that optical flow. Now, somebody said you're supposed to be able to, like, put your hand and have it follow your hand, but I don't know if that's the case. Oh, okay, I see what it does. So I can make it go up, I think, if I put my hand like that. Yeah, see, that's pretty cool. So that tells you it's definitely working. Let's see if we can bring her in for a landing over here. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it is very windy out here. I've got a strong headwind right now, so, whoo, that was a little gust. Let's try to bring her down right here. This is gonna be a little tricky, I think, because I think this has got a one-touch landing too, but I'm not sure what that is either, y'all. I'm totally a non-direction reader until something goes wrong and I have to figure it out. So boom, that was a pretty smooth landing without any kind of one-touch landing. There's supposed to be one, but I don't know what it is. And just to show you the battery life right quick here, with that amount of flying so far, I've still got 2 bars left on this first battery. All right, y'all, I gave in and done a little reading of the manual. So this right here, the pitch, adjusting of your pitch, your blade pitch, that's the one-touch landing. I should have known with the little symbol there, but it only works when you're flying, obviously, and then the adjusting of your pitch only works when you're not flying. So let's get her back up in the air and test out that one-touch landing. So I've noticed it's a little bit picky sometimes if you don't let it spin up, and maybe it's because of the optical flow. As far as taking off, it takes a second to get up in the air. But I'm gonna tell you what, y'all, I mean, I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching anything at all. That optical flow is really, really cool. That's very, very cool. I'm looking forward to the Bell 206 upgrades now. That's pretty awesome. I like the little indicator lights and stuff on it. I mean, the scale look of that thing is just so cool, y'all. And it's really awesome that I can get up on it because of the optical flow. The only thing I didn't see in the book, I still didn't see any mention of any kind of trim once you turn this optical flow off. And the problem is with this wind out here, I really don't want to mess with it. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. See, I mean, immediately it's a drift because I'm getting a wind out here, but See, I'm not holding anything that's going forward on me, but I don't know if there's a way to adjust the trim. I'm sure there is. I'll have to check it out once I get home. I'll have to look up some other videos or instructions or something, but that's with the optical flow off. I mean, it's still not bad. And like I say, it's definitely faster. You can see it's much peppier with that optical flow, but it does start losing a little bit of elevation when you pitch real far forward like that, if you're real aggressive with it. Let's go back to the flow. And see, I mean, just like that, it's immediately calmed down. I can let right off of it, and it just does exactly what I want it to do. That's very, very cool. So let's go over here and see if we can do that one-touch landing on it. I really like being able to follow it like this so closely too. I mean, you can see how cool that thing is. I can just get all kind of nice, cool shots. Uh-oh, we're blinking. We better go over there, y'all. That means we're low. Once it starts blinking fast, that means you're really low. So let's see if we can do the one touch here. Let me get over. I don't think it, well, obviously it doesn't seek anything out. So let's see what we get. Boom, let's bring her down. And there you go. It did it right there. And it cut the throttle off. All right, got us back at the house. I'm gonna make another quick little run here. I tried to get out there and get some thumbnail pictures and stuff, but I don't know how well it worked. Old nasty weather. Actually, this is the next day, and you can see the weather is still nasty out here, so we're just gonna do what we can do. I actually really wanna try to take this thing upside down. Right now, the wind is pretty much non-existent out here right now. I mean, as you can see, look how steady that thing is. I mean, it is steady, steady. It's got a little tiny bit of wind out here, but I mean, as you can see, that bad boy is steady as can be right there. Very, very cool. So I think I'm gonna try to go ahead and do the upside down thing. So what you gotta do is go really high. Well, I say really high. I think it said something like 8 meters. Well, first off, let's test it with the optical flow off and see what kind of drift. See, it's got a drift with the optical flow off. I got a hold of it though, but I can't find how to do any kind of trim on this thing. I went and watched some videos and read some other stuff, but I can't find anything. If anybody out there knows, there's gotta be a way to adjust the trim when you're out of optical flow. Otherwise, I mean, you really just can't hardly fly this thing, you know? Right now it's wanting to go backwards and to the left, so I'm gonna try to stay behind it. I'm gonna try to get this done, but I don't know. Ooh, now it's not going backwards. Let's see what happens. Not high enough, I'm assuming. I know you gotta be pretty high. I'm definitely off on the optical flow. Let me get up, let me get a little higher. Let's do it now. No. That was not good. Oh, that was not good. All right, that was definitely not part of the plan, y'all. That was a pretty hard crash right there. But this thing's actually still going, believe it or not. I did snap one of the little mounts right here that holds the that little pod, that pod right there, the rocket pod. And then it had the LMG on this side right here. I went ahead and took this one off. It wasn't broke, but I didn't want it unbalanced. And it snapped a little tiny little piece that sticks up off the front right here, a little plastic piece. Unfortunately, I probably have to get a whole new chassis to get that piece, so that's probably just gone. And one of the legs right here snapped off, but I'm gonna just put a little touch of super glue. Other than that, nothing. Well, this little thing right here broke too. I don't think that has a whole lot to do with stability. It's just like a little plastic piece. I think that's more for looks than anything, but word of advice, if I have to say this, if y'all can't figure this out on your own, definitely do not try to do that inverted thing going up high with that optical flow off until you figure out the pitch, the trim. There's gotta be a way to adjust that trim, because with that optical flow off, I mean, you have to have it trimmed out or it's just drifting. Y'all saw, and that was my problem. This thing drifts hard left and back, and it just drifted right up into that tree. So again, in case I have to say it, don't do what I just did. But I guess that is a good tester or testament to the toughness of this. Let's see if we can calibrate that gyro just in case, and fire her back up, and let's see what happens here. So I don't think it's gonna have any problem. I did a little quick takeoff just to make sure before I started the camera back up, and it seemed to be just fine. So optical flow is back on. As y'all can see, let me get her back at a steady height there. I got a little bit of wind, but there you go. Once it's finished doing its bob, and it'll be pretty steady. There you can see it's holding again, so no problem. I guess that's good. I mean, it was a good test too. Well, it ain't good for me because I don't like having my stuff tore up, but it's a good test out here, a good little demo to the toughness, because that was a heck of a fall, y'all. Well, probably what I should have done, thinking back on it now, hindsight being 2020, I might should have just went over there and tried to catch the thing. That probably would have mitigated some of the damage. Let me get back and do a little bit of flight just to make sure there's no problems. Very cool looking. I really like the lights on this thing. It's awesome little scale look to it. I hate that I broke my little pods and stuff off. I can get those. That's another thing I meant to mention, and I meant to mention in that Bell video too. You can actually get parts to fix these if you do some stuff like that. You can just go to YuXiang's site, actually sells the parts for this stuff. And it's not very expensive. Even if you had to get a whole chassis, it's relatively cheap, you know, compared to the whole cost. It's probably like 20 bucks, something like that, 25 bucks. So not dirt cheap by any means, not something you want to keep replacing, but it ain't gonna break the bank if you make a dumb mistake like I did. But yeah, this thing is awesome. I really like it. Again, I like the scale looks. You can see like just the turns and all that it makes look really, really scale if you do them going kind of slow. Let's do a couple last little back and forths here. See, I just don't, with these trees, it's dangerous for me trying to go fast or anything like that, make any fancy maneuvers. I'm on high, yeah, make sure. Yeah, I'm definitely on high. Again, once you take this optical flow off, y'all saw, I'm not gonna do it right here again, but it's super, super fast with the optical flow off, but you definitely gotta know what you're doing once you turn that stuff off. But with it on, I mean, it's super incredibly easy to fly. And then you can just let loose. If anything happens, just let loose. You know, you don't go into panic mode and it don't start falling out of the sky like it did because it's running into trees. Let's see if we can bring her in and put it down for a landing. Shouldn't be any kind of problem. Remember, it does have that one-touch landing, but I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna try to put it down here. I think all the one-touch landing really does is drop it instantly anyway. So, I mean, you can do the same thing with the stick. Just get over the pad, get her up a little bit, and put her on, up. There we go. Oh, I missed it a little bit, but I'll take that. That's not too bad. All right, y'all, since I've used up one of my lives out here already and it's starting to drizzle, I think I'm gonna call it right there for the maiden flight of this little UH-1 Huey. Very cool little heli, definitely really, really cool looks on it as far as the scale looks. I hate that I broke off my little rocket pods and stuff. I'll probably look and see if I can get those separate from the chassis, and if they're not too much, pick it up, and this little piece on the top. Now, as far as that, I'm betting that's part of the chassis, so if it is, I don't know. I'd like to get it back in perfect shape, so who knows. If it's not too much, I'll probably pick some of these parts up. But this thing is very easy to fly with the optical flow localization on. Once you take that off, though, it's a different story. With it not trimmed, again, please let me know down in the comments if any of y'all know how to adjust the trim on this thing, or if you know where I can look to figure out how to adjust the trim. But other than that, I think this is a great little heli. Not very expensive. Now, it's not very cheap. Again, it's, you know, 220, 250 bucks maybe now with the discount. Not quite as much as it was on Black Friday, but still a pretty good deal for what you're getting, and very, very easy to fly again. Now, like I mentioned, I did pick this one up from them myself, but I do have an affiliate link that I'll leave down below if y'all interested in checking this out. I've got a lot more really cool stuff on the way, so y'all stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon.